The island doesn't exist on any map. At least, not one you can access. When I first got the job offer, I thought it was fake. The pay was too high, the requirements were too vague, and the location was listed as confidential until arrival. But I needed the money. So I accepted. The instructions were simple. Fly to a small coastal airport. Wait for a black shuttle. Don't ask questions. I should have taken that as a warning. The shuttle arrived exactly at sunset. No logo. No driver introduction. Just a silent man in a black uniform who opened the door and gestured for me to get in. There were 4 other people already inside. No one spoke. We drove for nearly an hour before reaching a private dock. That's when I saw the island. It wasn't what I expected. Most private resorts try to look inviting. This one didn't. The buildings were modern, clean, almost too perfect, but the island itself felt wrong. The trees were dense and uneven, the shoreline jagged instead of smooth, and there was a constant low fog sitting just above the water. Even from a distance, it didn't feel like a place meant for tourists. It felt like something built to be hidden. The boat ride was silent. No waves. No wind. Just the hum of the engine and that same thick fog wrapping around us like it didn't want us to see where we were going. When we docked, the manager was already waiting. Tall. Thin. Perfect posture. Too perfect. "Welcome," he said calmly. "You'll find everything you need has already been arranged. No introductions. No orientation. Just that." We were each handed a uniform and a small black keycard. Then came the rules. "There are guests staying on this island who value privacy above all else," the manager said. "You will respect that privacy at all times." He looked directly at each of us as he spoke. "If a guest has requested isolation, you do not disturb them." He paused. Then added, "Even if they ask you to." That line stuck with me. We were assigned roles immediately. Housekeeping. Kitchen. Maintenance. Security. I got front desk. Which sounds easy. Until you realize something. There is no front. The lobby exists, but it's rarely used. No walk-ins. No visible arrivals. No tourists dragging luggage or asking questions. Everything is pre-arranged. Every guest is expected. Every room assigned before they even arrive. And that's where things got strange. My first shift started at midnight. The manager handed me a clipboard before leaving. "Arrival list," he said. I glanced down at it. 5 names. 5 room numbers. No check-in times. No notes. Just names. Where do they come from? I asked. He smiled slightly. "They're already here." Then he left. I stood there in the empty lobby, staring at the list. The building was silent. Too silent. At exactly 12:03 a.m. The lights flickered. Just once. Then the bell at the front desk rang. I jumped. No one was there. I looked around. Empty. Then I looked back at the clipboard. The first name was crossed out. My chest tightened. I didn't do that. I checked the security monitor behind the desk. The hallway cameras lit up one by one. Room 101. Door closed. Lights off. Room 102. Door slightly open. Room 103. Dark. Room 104. I froze. The door was open. Slowly swinging back and forth. Like someone had just walked in. Or out. I leaned closer to the screen. Okay, that's not normal. The bell rang again. This time louder. I turned sharply. Still no one at the desk. But something was different now. The air felt colder. Heavier. Like someone was standing right in front of me. Even though I couldn't see them. Then I heard it. A voice. Soft. Close. Right next to my ear. Check them in. I spun around. No one. Nothing. The monitors flickered again. Room 104. The door stopped moving. And slowly. It began to close. But not by itself. Something inside was pulling it shut. And just before it clicked, I saw a hand. Not reaching out. Holding the door from the inside. And the fingers were too long. The clipboard slipped slightly in my grip. The first name was crossed out. The second name had just been circled. I didn't sleep after that. I stayed at the desk, staring at the clipboard like it might change again if I looked away. The second name was still circled. The first one was still crossed out. No timestamps. No signatures. Just marked. At 12:17 a.m., the phone rang. Not the main line. The internal one. The one connected to the guest rooms. I hesitated before picking it up. "Front desk," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. Silence. Then a soft voice. Too soft. Like it was coming through something thick. "You're late." My throat tightened. "I'm sorry, what room is this?" There was a pause. Then, "You already know." The line went dead. I stared at the receiver for a few seconds before slowly putting it back down. Then I turned to the monitors. Room 102. The door was still slightly open. But now, the light inside was on. I hadn't seen anyone enter. I hadn't seen anyone move. But something had changed. I zoomed the camera. The gap between the door and the frame was just wide enough to see inside. A bed. A chair. And something sitting in it. Not clearly visible. Just a shape. Still. Watching the door. Watching the hallway. Watching me. I leaned back. Nope. The phone rang again. Same line. Same tone. I picked it up faster this time. Front desk. A different voice. Deeper. Slower. Room 103 requires service. I checked the clipboard. Third name. Not circled. Not crossed. Just sitting there. What kind of service? I asked. The answer came immediately. Maintenance. The line cut. I looked toward the hallway leading to the rooms. The lights flickered once. Then stabilized. Something moved on the monitor. Room 103. The door was opening. Slowly. From the inside. I swallowed hard. No one checked in. I said it out loud, like that would make it true. Like that would make it safe. The door opened halfway. Then stopped. Darkness inside. No light. No movement. Just a black space where something should be. The clipboard shifted slightly in my hand. I looked down. The third name was now circled. My chest tightened. I didn't do that. A shadow passed across the hallway camera. Fast. Too fast to track. I jumped, nearly dropping the clipboard. Okay. I forced myself to breathe. It's just cameras. Just lights. But deep down, I knew it wasn't. The phone rang again. Louder this time. I grabbed it immediately. Front desk. Silence. Then, breathing. Slow. Wet. right into the receiver. My grip tightened. "Who is this?" The breathing stopped. Then a whisper. "Don't come in." The line went dead. I froze. Then slowly turned toward the monitor. Room 103. The door was still open. But now, something was standing inside. Just beyond the frame. Barely visible. Tall. Unnaturally tall. Its head tilted slightly, like it was listening. Then the camera glitched. Static for half a second. When the image returned, the door was closed. I stepped back from the desk. I'm not going down there. The overhead lights flickered again. Then dimmed slightly. The air pressure shifted. Like something had entered the building. The main entrance doors, locked since my shift began, creaked softly. I turned. They hadn't opened. But something had changed. The reflection in the glass. There was someone standing behind me. I spun around. Nothing. Empty lobby. Silent. Cold. I turned back to the glass slowly. The reflection was still there. A figure. Standing directly behind me. Not moving. Not breathing. Just there. I didn't turn this time. I just stared at the reflection. My voice came out barely a whisper. "You're not a guest." The reflection tilted its head slightly. Then smiled. But I didn't. My real face, in the reflection, was smiling. And I wasn't. The clipboard slipped from my hand and hit the floor. When I looked down, I saw something that made my stomach drop. The fourth name had been crossed out. I hadn't even heard the bell. I shouldn't have left the desk. I knew that. Every instinct I had was telling me to stay right where I was, but the clipboard was already changing on its own, the phones wouldn't stop ringing, and whatever was happening upstairs was only getting worse. If I didn't check it myself, I wasn't going to survive the night. I grabbed the keycard and stepped into the hallway. The corridor leading to the rooms felt different from the lobby. Colder. Quieter. The kind of silence that presses against your ears until you start hearing things that aren't there. The lights above flickered occasionally, casting long shadows that stretched across the walls like they didn't belong to anything real. Room 101. Closed. No sound. No movement. Room 102. Still slightly open. Light spilling out into the hallway. I stopped in front of it. My hand hovered near the door. I didn't want to look inside. Something about that room felt wrong. Like whatever was sitting in that chair wasn't meant to be seen directly. Then a voice came from inside. Soft. Calm. Too calm. "You're late." My hand froze. It was the same voice from the phone. I didn't get a check-in request, I said carefully. Silence. Then. That's not how this works. The door creaked slightly wider. Just enough for the light to spill further into the hallway. I didn't step in. I stayed exactly where I was. "Sir, I need to confirm you're..." "Don't." The word came out sharp. "Immediate. If you open that door," the voice continued, softer now, "you won't leave the same." A chill ran down my spine. "I just need to verify. You already know I'm here." The door moved again. Not opening. Closing. Slowly. Deliberately. Like something inside was pushing it shut. I stepped back instinctively. The door clicked closed. The light disappeared. And just like that, room 102 went silent. I stood there for a few seconds, trying to steady my breathing. "Okay, don't open doors," I muttered. "Got it." Then I moved on. Room 103. The one that had called for maintenance. The door was closed now. No light. No sound. Nothing. I stood in front of it. Waiting. Listening. Then. A knock. Not from inside. From behind me. I turned quickly. The hallway was empty. Another knock. This time closer. I looked back at room 103. The sound came again. From the other side of the door. Slow. 3 knocks. My throat tightened. You asked for maintenance. Silence. Then. Yes. The voice was deeper than before. Not the same as the phone. What seems to be the issue? I asked. Another pause. Then. The door. I stared at it. The door. It doesn't stay closed. My chest tightened. Can I come in? I asked, even though I didn't want to. The answer came immediately. No. I swallowed. Then how am I supposed to? Stand there. My heart skipped. And listen. I didn't move. Didn't speak. The silence stretched. Long enough that I started to think maybe it was over. Then. The handle moved. Slowly. The door opened just a few inches. Darkness inside. No light at all. And then? Something pressed against the gap. Not a face. Not fully. Just enough to see texture. Movement. Something shifting where a face should be. You shouldn't be here, it whispered. My body locked up. None of you should be here. The door slammed shut. The sound echoed through the hallway. I stumbled back. My breathing uneven now. What is this place? A voice answered. Not from the room. From behind me. You weren't told the rules properly. I turned. One of the staff members stood at the end of the hallway. Same uniform. Same blank expression. I hadn't seen him before. You're not supposed to interact with them, he said calmly. My chest tightened. They're calling the front desk. He nodded. They always do. Then what am I supposed to do? He looked at me for a long moment. Then said something that made my stomach drop. Pretend they're not there. I shook my head. That's not possible. It is, he said. Everyone else does it. I glanced back at room 103. Those aren't guests, are they? He didn't answer immediately. Then. No. Silence filled the hallway. Then what are they? I asked. He looked directly at me. They're the ones who didn't leave. A cold feeling settled in my chest. What do you mean? He stepped closer. First rule, he said quietly. Never open a guest's door. My throat went dry. Second rule. He paused. Then leaned in slightly. If a guest asks you to come inside. His voice dropped to a whisper. They already know you will. The lights flickered violently. And somewhere down the hallway. A door slowly creaked open. The door at the end of the hallway creaked open slowly. Not fully. Just enough for darkness to spill into the corridor. Neither of us moved. Me and the staff member. We both stared at it. That's not supposed to happen, I said quietly. He didn't respond immediately. For the first time since I met him. His expression changed. Just slightly. Tension. Go back to the desk, he said. I shook my head. No. You said don't interact with them. I haven't. That door opened on its own. His jaw tightened. They don't come out. The words felt heavy. Final. Like something that wasn't supposed to be questioned. But it just did, I said. The door creaked a little wider. Still no light inside. Just darkness. Deep. Thick. Then a foot stepped out. Bare. Too pale. Too still. I felt my breath catch in my chest. The staff member whispered under his breath, "Stay behind me." He took a slow step forward. I didn't listen. I didn't move back. I couldn't. The figure stepped further into the hallway. Tall. Thin. Unnaturally straight posture. Its head tilted slightly, like it was adjusting to the space. Then it took another step. And I realized something that made my stomach twist. It wasn't walking normally. Its movements were delayed. Like it was copying something it had seen before. Instead of knowing how to move. The staff member raised his hand slightly. "Go back to your room." The figure stopped. Then slowly, it turned its head toward him. Too slowly. Too far. The neck shouldn't have turned that much. "You're not part of this shift," it said. The voice was wrong. Flat. Empty. Like multiple voices trying to speak at once. The staff member didn't respond. "Return to your room," he repeated. The figure took another step forward. Closer now. The air around us felt heavier. Colder. "I was waiting," it said. "For what?" I asked before I could stop myself. The staff member shot me a look. Too late. The figure turned toward me. And smiled. Its face didn't move correctly. The smile stretched too far. Too wide. "For you." My chest tightened. "You called," it continued. "I didn't call you." "You answered." The words echoed in my head. "The phone." "The calls." "You checked me in." I shook my head. "No, I didn't." "The clipboard." "The crossed-out names." "The circled ones." My hands went cold. "I didn't sign anything." The figure stepped closer. "You don't need to." The lights above flickered violently. Then, everything went dark for a split second. When the lights came back, the figure was right in front of me. Too close. I couldn't even step back. "You let me in," it whispered. I never opened the door. It tilted its head slightly. "You listened." My breath caught. "That's enough." The staff member moved suddenly, stepping between us. "Back. To your room." This time his voice was different. Stronger. Sharper. For a moment, the figure didn't move. Then, slowly, it stepped back. One step. Then another. Until it reached the doorway. It paused there. Then looked at me one last time. And said something that made my blood run cold. "There are more of us than there are rooms." The door slammed shut. The hallway went silent again. I stood there, frozen. "What does that mean?" I whispered. The staff member didn't answer immediately. He just stared at the door. Then he said quietly, "It means the island is running out of space." My chest tightened. "For what?" He turned toward me slowly. "For guests." The lights flickered again. And somewhere in the building, another door creaked open. The second door didn't sound close. It echoed from somewhere deeper in the building. A part of the hallway I hadn't seen before. I turned toward the sound instinctively. "There are more floors?" I asked. The staff member hesitated. That was the first real hesitation I'd seen from him. "There shouldn't be." My stomach tightened. "But there are." Another creak. Closer this time. The lights flickered again, longer now. When they stabilized, something was different. The hallway had changed. At first, it was subtle, easy to miss. The spacing between the doors, the distance between lights. Everything felt stretched. I turned back toward the lobby. The way I came from. It looked further away. Much further. That's not possible. The staff member exhaled slowly. It's starting earlier than usual. What is? He didn't answer. Instead, he started walking deeper into the hallway. Wait, I said. You just told me not to interact with them. I didn't say don't follow me. That didn't make me feel better. But I followed. The further we walked, the more the hallway changed. New doors appeared. Doors that weren't there before. Room numbers started shifting. Skipping. Repeating. Not making sense. I stopped. That's not normal. Don't focus on the numbers, he said. How am I supposed to ignore that? Another door creaked open ahead of us. We both stopped. The door was already halfway open. Inside. Darkness. No light. No movement. But I could feel it. Something inside. Waiting. The staff member spoke quietly. Don't look directly in. Why? Because it will notice. My chest tightened. It already knows I'm here. That's different. Before I could ask what he meant, a sound came from inside the room. Not footsteps. Not breathing. Something dragging slowly across the floor. The staff member stepped back. We shouldn't be here. You brought me here. I didn't bring you to this part. That made my stomach drop. What do you mean? He didn't answer. He just stared at the door. The sound inside stopped. Complete silence. Then, a voice. Soft. Weak. Help me. I froze. That's a person. The staff member grabbed my arm suddenly. No. Please? The voice came again. Stronger now. Desperate. I'm stuck. My heart started racing. We can't just leave them in there. Yes, we can. I pulled my arm free. No. That's not right. Listen to me. His voice changed. Serious. Urgent. That room wasn't here before. I looked back at the doorway. The darkness inside felt deeper now. Thicker. They locked the door. The voice sounded closer. Too close. Right at the entrance. I took a step forward. I just need to check. Don't. Too late. I leaned slightly. Just enough to see inside. And what I saw wasn't a room. It was a hallway. Another hallway. Long. Endless. Stretching far beyond what should exist inside that space. And at the far end, someone was standing there. Waving. Please? My chest tightened. That's real. No, the staff member said. That's where they go. My heart skipped. What? The extra guests. I stared into the impossible hallway. They don't leave the island. The figure at the end started walking toward me. Slowly. Help me. The voice changed. It sounded familiar. Too familiar. I leaned in slightly, trying to see their face. And then I realized why it sounded familiar. Because it was mine. I stepped back so fast I nearly tripped. That's not me, I said immediately. Too quickly. Too defensively. The figure inside the impossible hallway kept walking forward. Same height. Same posture. Same movement. Help me. My voice. Exactly my voice. My chest tightened. No. That's not possible. The staff member didn't argue. Didn't comfort me. He just said, "It is now." I turned to him. "What does that mean?" He looked at the doorway. Not at me. "It means you've been marked." The word hit harder than anything else. Marked. I shook my head. No. I didn't go inside. I didn't open anything. "You listened," he said. Silence. The voice inside the hallway got closer. Louder. More desperate. "Don't leave me here." My breathing became uneven. "What is that place?" The staff member finally looked at me. "That's where the guests go when there aren't enough rooms." A cold weight settled in my chest. They become guests. I swallowed hard. They already are. The lights flickered violently again. Then everything went still. Too still. The voice inside the hallway stopped. The figure stopped walking. Then it looked up. Directly at me. And smiled. The same wrong smile I had seen before. My stomach dropped. "That's not me." "No," the staff member said quietly. "That's what's left of you." I stepped back again. "I'm still here. For now." The words felt final. Cold. "Then what happens next?" He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a clipboard. The same kind I had at the front desk. My chest tightened. "No." He handed it to me. "Look." I didn't want to. But I did. A list of names. Room numbers. Some crossed out. Some circled. And at the bottom, my name. Circled. My hand started shaking. "I didn't write this." "No," he said. "You just confirmed it." The words echoed in my head. "You answered the calls. The phone. You went to the rooms. The hallway. You listened. The doors. Every step. Every choice. You checked yourself in." My chest tightened. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't have to. The lights flickered again. Then the hallway shifted. Not physically. Not completely. But something about it changed. The doors looked older. The walls darker. The air heavier. "It's happening," he said. "What is?" "Your transition." I looked back at the open doorway. The impossible hallway was still there. But now, the version of me inside it was gone. My heart skipped. Where did it go? The staff member didn't look surprised. It found a room. A cold chill ran through me. "What room?" He looked at me. "Yours." Before I could react, a sound echoed through the hallway. A bell. From the front desk. My stomach dropped. "That means new arrival," he said. The lights flickered one last time. Then everything snapped back. The hallway. The doors. The numbers. Normal again. Like nothing had happened. I turned and ran. Back toward the lobby. My footsteps echoed louder than they should have. When I reached the front desk, the clipboard was waiting. A new name had been added. At the bottom of the list. Under mine. And beside it. A room number. I looked up slowly. Toward the hallway behind me. And for the first time, I noticed something I hadn't seen before. A door. Right at the end of the corridor. One that hadn't been there earlier. With a number on it. My number. And from inside, I heard something moving. I stood there, staring at the door. My door. At the end of the hallway. It hadn't been there before. I was sure of that. But now it was. Solid. Real. Waiting. The number on it matched the one on the clipboard. The one next to my name. My chest felt tight. Like the air was getting thinner. Behind me, the front desk bell rang again. I didn't turn around. Because I already knew what it meant. Another arrival. Another name added to the list. Another person stepping into the same thing I didn't understand until it was too late. Don't go in. The voice came from behind me. I turned slowly. The staff member stood near the desk. Watching me. For the first time. He didn't look calm. You still have time, he said. My throat felt dry. Time for what? He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he looked toward the door. Then back at me. To leave. The word hit me harder than anything else. Leave. He nodded. Boat comes at sunrise. My heart started racing. There's a way out. For some. That hope didn't feel right. Not here. Not after everything I had seen. What happens if I don't leave? He looked at the door again. You already know. I did. I just didn't want to say it. I become one of them. He didn't correct me. That was enough. The door at the end of the hallway creaked slightly. From the inside. My breath caught. You don't have to open it, he said quickly. But if it opens? He didn't finish. He didn't need to. The handle moved. Slowly. Deliberately. I took a step back. I didn't touch it. I know. The door opened just a little. Darkness inside. But not empty. Something moved. Then. A hand appeared. My hand. Gripping the edge of the door from inside. My chest tightened. That's not me. The hand pulled the door open wider. And I saw it. Me. Standing inside the room. But not right. My posture was stiff. My movements delayed. My expression wrong. Like something was wearing me. It stepped closer to the doorway. You took too long, it said. My voice. But hollow. I shook my head. No. It tilted its head. They always do. The staff member moved slightly behind me. Don't respond. Too late. What are you? I asked. It smiled. Too wide. Too slow. I'm what stays. My stomach dropped. That doesn't make sense. You made the choices. The clipboard. The calls. The hallway. Every step. You checked in. My chest tightened. I never signed anything. You don't need to. It stepped out of the room. Fully into the hallway now. And I felt it immediately. The air changed. Like the building itself reacted. Like something had just been completed. The lights flickered violently. The bell at the desk rang again. And again. And again. Non-stop. My ears rang. What's happening? I shouted. The staff member answered. Too many guests. The thing that looked like me stepped closer. There aren't enough rooms. The words echoed in my head. There are more of us than there are rooms. I stumbled back. So what happens now? It stopped right in front of me. Close enough that I could see every detail. Every flaw. Every delay. Then it said something that made everything click. We share. The lights went out. Complete darkness. I felt something grab my arm. Cold. Strong. I tried to pull away. But I couldn't move. You still have a choice, the staff member's voice said somewhere in the dark. Run. I didn't think. I ran. Back toward the lobby. The bell was still ringing. Louder now. The front doors were ahead. Locked. I grabbed the handle. Pulled. Nothing. Behind me. Footsteps. Not just one. Multiple. Getting closer. You can't leave after check-in. The voice came from behind me. My voice. I pulled harder. The lock snapped. The door opened. Cold air rushed in. The ocean. The dock. Freedom. I ran. Didn't look back. Didn't stop. I made it to the shore just as the first light of sunrise broke across the water. The boat was there. Waiting. Empty. I got on. Didn't question it. Didn't think. Just started the engine. And left. I didn't look back at the island. Not once. But as the fog closed in behind me, I heard something. Faint. Distant. The sound of a bell. Still ringing. I quit that job. Never went back. Never told anyone. But sometimes. Late at night. When everything is quiet. My phone rings. No number. No name. And when I answer, I hear my own voice. Soft. Calm. Waiting. Your room is ready. And somewhere deep down, I know something is still there. Waiting for me to come back. Because some guests don't leave. They just check out. And leave something behind.